Hi folks, Chris of the Polish Geek, and welcome to another movie review. A review of the movie that's been out for quite a while, but I refuse to see it in theaters, but watched it right now, actually. And that's the live-action remake of How to Train Your Dragon. And I was right from the beginning that this movie should not exist. Like, story-wise, it's literally no different from the original How to Train Your Dragon. Yes, it is practically what the trailers very much showed us it would be, which is pretty much the original How to Train Your Dragon, but with a live-action coat of paint, which is one of the reasons why it was so pointless, because animation was one of the things, was one of the biggest appeals of those movies. Like the original How to Train Your Dragon trilogy is just excellent, amazing. I love original How to Train Your Dragon trilogy, with the third, The Hidden World, as my very favorite one. But the minute this was announced, I knew from the beginning this is gonna be just in the style of all those Disney action remakes. And I guess the difference is that between this and live action remakes, that this, again, it's pretty much the retelling of the movie, whereas live action Disney remakes do make plenty of changes that very much worsen the story, almost never enhance it, very much worsen it, but that's neither here nor there, while this is, again, pretty much basically a copy and paste of the original movie with a live action coat of paint and I guess a few extra scenes. And it's basically like, you know, there are those movies that some have director's cuts with some edit scenes, and like Jeremy just compared, basically like the extra material here are basically those type of scenes that are completely pointless, like, because again, there are some extended editions that very much enhance the original movie, but then there are some that were extra scenes just completely add nothing, and I mean nothing, to the story. And this is would be very much fall into the category of extra scenes, not adding anything to the story other than just basically, oh, we need to make this longer to justify its existence, but it doesn't justify its existence one bit. Like, when I made the video of why I refuse to see this movie in theaters, I actually had a comment on this video basically saying that this is basically an animated movie but remastered, which I think, like, what? Calling it a remastered? It seems to stem from the close-minded belief that live action is more adult and more mature than animated one, which is just like one of the most silly ideas, and that's actually among the many ideas I frequently debunk on this channel, because the truth is, an animated movie can totally be much better than a live action movie. So yes, by basically calling it an original remastered, yeah, it seems like basically stem from this closed-minded idea that live action is always better and more adult than animated one, which is just like so stupid. Like, and as I said, this is practically a retelling of the original movie, because maybe if they wanted to do like adaptations of the How to Train Your Dragon books, and by the way, I haven't read the books, but I did hear from people that did read them that apparently the story in the books has plenty of differences from the animated movie actually. I mean, the animated movie did plenty of change to the books, so if they wanted to just make a live action adaptation of the books, yeah, that could work, as long as you had passionate people that very much care about what they're doing. Yeah, that could work. It would pretty much be a more like closer to the book adaptation, so that could totally work. But this is pretty much a copy and paste of the original animated movie with all the magic stripped, because again, the animation was one of the biggest magics of the original movie. And another big problem I had with this movie is the actors. Like, the actor who played Hiccup, I did actually, when I reacted to the trailer, I did say that he doesn't really look the part, but as an actor I say this guy is just terrible. Like, almost in every scene he was in, I could totally tell he was acting. Like, and his acting was just so lifeless and so bland. Oh my gosh, this acting was really terrible. And as I said, I could totally tell he was acting in every scene. But don't even get me started on the cringy casting for Astrid. We're not getting into this. Yes, sorry, I had to take a break from recording because that was a postman actually delivering a package for me, so yeah, I had to hang up recording for a minute, but we're back into it. And yeah, so as I said, we're not getting into the cringy casting for Astrid, but also, and that's something I really did say pretty much in every trailer I was reacting, but because the dragons look practically the same as they look in the original animated movie. As a result, they look completely out of place. But I've been saying this constantly anytime I've been reacting to the trailers about it, so I guess no need to say more about that. But, and as already said, and that's another thing I want to talk about Astrid now no longer about the casting, like the fact that the casting for Astrid was super cringy already goes without saying, but I will say one more thing. Also, she's so unlikable in this one, because Astrid in the original How to Train Your Dragon, she was such an amazing character, and her attitude towards Hip Cup completely changing was so believable, and their chemistry was so great. But here I say Astrid feels practically like a jerk here actually, and it feels like the reason she changes her attitude towards Hiccup and then towards the dragons because the story needs her to, and it doesn't feel believable or convincing at all, in contrast to the original animated one where her transformation felt so natural and made so much sense actually. But overall, I was right when I refused to see live action How to Train Your Dragon in theaters. Like, I was completely right. I don't think those movies deserve to exist, and it seems like DreamWorks is learning wrong lessons from Disney. No one cares about live action remakes of awesome animated movies. We want new ideas, original ideas. No one cares about basically new remastered versions of movies that are just good as they are, and no need to remake them in live action, because that's not what we want. We want new, interesting, original stories. No one wants just pointless remakes with all the magic stripped of our favorite beloved animated classics that we all love. So, yep, ultimately, I was right when I refused to see live action How to Train Your Dragon in theaters, and I will not see the second one, even though it's sadly being made either, because I just cannot support this. Just as I cannot support Disney live action remakes. So, thank you folks for checking out this review. Press the like button, please subscribe to this channel, and I will talk to you soon in another video. Talk to you then, bye!